Miss Hunter here. Your maths for this week is all based on statistics, so I've adapted this PowerPoint so I can explain it to you in a little bit more detail. We are going to be looking at bar charts, line graphs, tally charts and pictograms. First up is a bar chart. Before we can attempt to answer any of the questions, we need to interpret the information that's given. This bar chart shows eye colour in class 4, and it's scaled to the 2 times table. Question 1. How many boys have brown eyes? We are going to look at the end bar, boys with brown eyes. If we look up the bar and then across to the scale, we should be able to work out how many boys have brown eyes. In this case, the answer is 12. Question 2. How many girls have blue eyes? This time we're looking at the first bar, but we're going to use the same strategy. Look up to the top of the bar and then across to the scale. This time the arrow sits between 2 and 4. So the number of girls with blue eyes has to be 3. How many children have blue eyes? This time we are going to need to look how many girls have blue eyes and how many boys have blue eyes, and then add the answers together. Three girls have blue eyes and 2 boys have blue eyes. 3 add 2 equals 5. How many children have brown eyes? So we're going to use the same strategy to work this out. "11 girls have brown eyes, 12 boys have brown eyes. 11 add 12 is 23. So the amount of children with brown eyes is 23. This time our question reads, how many more girls have brown eyes than have blue eyes? We will need to look at how many girls have brown eyes and how many girls have blue eyes and take the smaller number away from the larger number. 11 take 3 equals 8. 8 more girls have brown eyes than have blue eyes. This time the question is, how many more boys have brown eyes than have blue eyes? So we're going to use the same strategy. Boys with brown eyes is 12, boys with blue eyes is 2. 12 take 2 is 10. So 10 more boys have brown eyes than blue eyes. The last question reads, how many children are there in class 4? In order to do this, we need to add up the totals of each bar. We can make this easier by putting 3 and 2 together and then 11 and 12. 3 add 2 equals 5, 11 add 12 equals 23. Add your 2 totals together, 23 add 5 equals 28. There are 28 children in class 4. We are now going to move on to line graphs. Again, we need to have a look at the information provided before we can attempt the questions. This is temperature recorded in Birmingham over 12 hours. Question 1. What was the temperature at 11 a.m? Look on the time and find 11 a.m. Look up towards the line and follow it until you find the number at the side. I've done this with arrows to show you how to do it. The temperature recorded at 11 a.m. is 10. Question 2. What was the highest temperature? To work this out, I've plotted the highest point on the graph with an X. I've then used an arrow to look across the line graph and worked out the answer. The highest temperature recorded is 13. What was the temperature at 9:30 a.m.? If we have a look at the times, there is no 9:30. So this must sit halfway in between 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock, and I've done this with an arrow. You then join the arrow to the line and look across to the number. This time the arrow sits between 6 and 8, so the temperature recorded at 9:30 is 7. What was the temperature recorded at 2 o'clock? We use the same strategy as we've used before. Find the time, look towards the line graph, and then follow your arrow to the side. The time at 2 o'clock is 10. What was the lowest temperature recorded? This time I've put a plot on the line graph where the lowest point is. This was at 7 o'clock and the temperature was 2. The last question reads, what was the difference between the temperature at 10 a.m. and 1 p.m.? I've plotted both points on the line graph so that I can work out the temperatures for each. The time at 10 o'clock is 8. The time at 1 o'clock is 12. 12 take 8 is 4. So the difference in temperature was 4. We are now going to move on to tally charts. Before I move on to the questions, I'm going to write the totals of each tally, which is actually question 4, so I'm saving myself a job. Now that I've done this, it will make the questions much easier to answer. Question 1. Which was the most common vehicle seen? If I look at the tally chart, this should be quite obvious by the amount of tallies and the total. The answer is car. Question 2. How many more bicycles than buses were seen? In this case, I'm looking at bicycles, which is 15, and bus, which is 13. 15 take 13 equals 2. 2 more bicycles were seen than buses. How many more cars than bicycles were seen? So I'm looking at the tally of bicycle and cars. 30 take 15 is 15. 15 more cars than bicycles were seen. Question number 5. How many trains, buses and cars were seen all together? I'm going to need to add the totals of each one together. 13 add 4 equals 17. 30 add 17 equals 47. Question 6. How many vehicles were seen all together? This time I'm going to need to take the total of each one and add them together. 30 add 15 equals 45. 13 add 4 equals 17. 45 add 17 equals 62. 62 vehicles were seen all together. With most statistics questions, you may be asked to write a question of your own. This can be really simple. Something like, how many more cars were seen than trains? Or how many cars and trains were seen all together? We are now going to move on to pictograms. Before you attempt to answer the questions, you need to work out what each symbol represents. In this pictogram, each circle is equal to 4 flowers, so half a circle is equal to 2 flowers. Now that you understand the key, you can answer the questions. Question number 1. How many daisies were picked? Look at the daisies and see how many circles there are, and work it out using the 4 times table. 4, 8, half a circle equals 2, so the answer is 10. Question 2. How many more buttercups than roses were picked? Again, determine how many of each were picked. 14 roses, 22 buttercups, and it's a simple subtraction. 22 take 14 is 8. 8 more buttercups were picked than roses. Question 3. How many daisies and buttercups were picked altogether? There were 10 daisies picked and 22 buttercups. Add the totals together to reach the answer. 22 add 10. 2. Question number 4. How many more roses than poppies were picked? 14 roses, 8 poppies. Again, a simple subtraction. 14 take 8 equals 6. 6 more roses were picked than poppies. How many daisies and roses were picked in total? 14 roses and 10 daisies. 14 add 10 equals 24. How many flowers were picked altogether? 10 daisies, 14 roses, 22 buttercups, and 8 poppies. Add the totals together. Again, you may be asked to write a question about the tally chart. Thank you for watching this PowerPoint. This should make the work that you are doing on statistics much easier for you to follow. Any work that you are struggling on, do not hesitate to send to myself or Mr. Carr and we will be happy to help. Good luck and have fun. Bye Year 4.